Today for the Sports and Stuff podcast, we have rising junior from Notre Dame Prep, Anthony Batson. Great averages as a kid, as one of the younger guys on the team last year. Anthony, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Great to have you on. Finally meet you. Let's just start off kind of how I've been doing the rest. You talked before that Notre Dame was on Section 7. So how's your summer been with club and school?
It's been fun. I just been working on a lot of things that I needed to improve on, like ball handling, my shooting ability. Just focus on my recruiting. That's really it.
So, how was Section 7 for you guys? Like, what schools did you play? How was the record, and just kind of your all-around play of how you felt you did?
Section 7 for us, it was kind of like a measuring of where we were. We played a pretty good team out of California, Weston Ranch. They were in the Open Division playoffs last year. We played McClintock, and we played a team from Utah. They're pretty good. They smacked up on us. So it was really just a measuring thing. And I feel like we measure at the top 5 to 10 schools in the state. I feel like we're up there with everybody else.
Yeah, definitely. You guys, you finished 19-9 last year. Lost in the second round of Deer Valley. How do you feel you did as a team last year? You were a sophomore, so of course you looked at as an underclassman, I'm sure, compared to the seniors. But just looking at your averages and stuff, how do you feel you did as a team collectively?
I feel like as a team, it was only the second year with new coaches, so we're getting used to a new system. So this year should be a lot more smooth. Last year it was a lot of guys that they're new to the sport, or they didn't really take it as their main sport, or they're doing it for fun. So this year should be a lot different. I still feel like we overachieved for the squad that we had. But, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at some of the scores you guys had. You've had some tight wins, but also some big ones. You got back-to-back wins against Dysart and Saguaro. You won 81-47 and 82-50.
Yeah.
And Saguaro's looked at as a football school, at least here. I know they won the Open Division in football, but I don't know much about their basketball team. I'm sure they're pretty good. How do you feel you did? I mean, I got your stats up here. 18 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal and a half a game and a block. For a guy that was 6'2" as a sophomore, that's really good numbers for the type of talent you guys are playing. Where did that confidence come from, being one of the younger guys on the team?
It just comes from hard work and just years of hard work and people around me telling me I have what it takes to make an impact on the game. And my coaches, it's like a accumulation of things.
So you talked about a little bit ago, some school, focusing more on your offers and, what your future is going to hold in the next couple of years. I saw you, your Instagram story highlight. You've had a couple of schools reach out to you. Did Section 7 help that, getting connected with more? Because I'm sure there was tons of coaches from all around the country there. What schools, were you able to have conversations with and get interest from?
I don't know, probably 20 schools reached out to me after the whole summer.
Jeez.
About 20 schools. I think after Section 7, probably 10. But it was probably mid to low major schools that reached out to me. But after the Under Armour circuit, it was some high major schools that started reaching out to me.
So I wanted to get into that next. You play for Arizona Select, which is one of Arizona's it's UAA, right? That's kind of what they call it. Circuit, like you said, is probably one of the bigger ones. I know the EYBL is usually looked at as the top of the top, but then you got the Adidas Gauntlet and then the Under Armour one. How is that for you? I'm sure I've been able to ask a couple of guys like Zach Anderson from DM, just the competition level is so different, and it's way more intense. But what are the differences for you regarding club versus playing with your school?
Really, there's no difference for me. I kind of had the same role in both club and high school. My role was just go out and play, and guys feed off of my energy when I go out and play free. That was really my role for both of the teams.
So what was it like playing in the Under Armour circuit? I don't know. I'm not familiar with where you played before, but I know you played 16U for AZ Select. What was that like playing with them?
I played with them last year, but it was a little different this year. It was a bigger stage because 15U they don't really have the exposure that 16U has. So each year it just keeps getting like higher up and higher up with the exposure. But like there's a lot of coaches on the baseline. It was just I went into it like a train of thought of like this is my chance to like really show what I have to like the whole world and the nation, and I feel like I was pretty successful in that.
Is that intimidating for you being around, like getting on the court and seeing, coaches from all over? I'm sure there's like the LSU's, Dukes, I'm sure there's recruits from every single place you can name, but does that intimidate you or like make you anxious at all? Or are you more focused just like what you're about to do on the court to like not necessarily show off, but show that you have the talent to play at the next level?
Um, it's kind of intimidating if I'm being totally honest. But I've had a coach who told me, if you're not nervous, then you don't really care. So
Yeah.
I go into all games like because I still have to get on the court and play against everybody else. So it doesn't matter how good anybody else is. It's still I have to play against them. They have to play against me. So that's really the mindset that I get into to get all that stuff out of my head.
So you had a post on your Instagram story the other day, which I thought was pretty gangster. You just talked about, it was like, you probably would be able to know better, but it was like, if you know me, like, I'm in the gym and not posting. It was like pretty much saying guys that are posting that they're in the gym, kind of full of it, but just know I'm working 10 times harder than you behind the scenes. What was kind of your message about that? Because it was pretty gangster in my opinion.
Yeah, my message in that was like you shouldn't like try and judge people based on like what you see or like think that what's coming to them is lucky or they haven't worked for what they got, because you don't know what's really going on. You don't know how much effort they put into their work, and it's kind of disrespectful to say that somebody's lucky for like the stuff that they're getting when they work for it.
Yeah. I'm looking at your just per game stats real quick. You've had some great games, averaging like getting 14, 15, 16 to start the season. And then you popped off for 47 points, 1 assist, and 10 rebounds against Cactus. Let's talk about that game for a second. What got into you that game? That was a win, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, you had more than half the team's points. What got into you that game, or what was the mentality heading into that game against Cactus?
Last year, I would have said that Cactus was our rival, because the year before that we had a pretty heated game with them. This is my freshman year. My freshman year was our first year in 4A, so we really didn't have any like rivals. So the first year in 4A, we had a pretty heated game with them. Then the second year, it was like we beat them twice my freshman year. So the second year, going into that game when I dropped 47, it was a lot of like tension. They thought they were gonna get us this time, and throughout the game, my whole thing was just like we gotta win. So like in the fourth quarter, if you watch that game, we got down a little. I just took over. I didn't want to lose. That's really what it was. When they scored, I scored.
What was it? Was it mostly threes? Like what were you hitting? I'm sure you went on a couple hot streaks of just like you couldn't miss if you even tried. But what was the biggest hot streak you got on mainly in that fourth quarter?
Actually, I think I hit 1 3 that game. So
really,
yeah, it was all layups and free throws. I think I had like 8, 10, something like that free throws, but it was all like fast break and getting to the basket and ones. Yeah,
that's crazy. You talked about your first seasons in 4A. You told me before you're not going to 5A. Mm-hmm. A little bit more competition, but they also took a hit. I know McClintock took a major hit, losing all of their guys. We saw True Washington this week announce he's going to AZ Compass Prep. which was kind of not surprising to me,
Yeah.
but like kind of sad in the way because I would have loved to see him play one more year and try to get a state title. Um, how do you feel about the competition going into 5A with the squad you're going up with compared to the ones you're about to play?
I feel like we're at the top, the upper echelon of all the teams that that really that can compete for a 5A title. I feel like we have a good chance. We have young guys, so we're gonna be like a threat for the next few years. Um, like in terms of like the competition, I don't want to underestimate anybody, so I really can't say much about anybody else. So yeah.
Is there any team you're excited to play against, or anybody you're excited to play against?
Yeah, Gabe Pickens in Millennium. They talk a lot.
I've been trying to get him on. I think his DMs are like blocked to where if he doesn't follow you, you can't DM him. I know some people are like that, but um, I would love to get him on because he plays for AZ Unity. I know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure that's another good club team out here. Why do you want to play against Gabe Pickens so bad?
Um, so he played for a long time with my coach, Brad Quinnett. He played for a long time with them. So when I joined the team, they mess with me a lot. Him and Braden Speed, they mess with me a lot. So I've always wanted to get them back. And when I played with my other team back home, I had a coach, LaRon Hall. Him and Brad Quinnett, they have some history. They went to college together. So like we used to play against them. So we always lost. So there's always been like some bad blood between us two, but it's like friendly bad blood.
Yeah. Um, I do want to ask before we get into just kind of what you've added to your game this summer and stuff like that. Um, you see, like the NBA draft, a lot of guys from Arizona got drafted in the first round. With Ty, Dallin Terry. I know Shaden Sharp's he's from Canada, but went to Dream City. There's a lot of guys that got drafted. What kind of motivation is that set for you being able to see guys that came from the public school system, with like Jalen Williams and Ty, to now being first round picks in the NBA draft?
Um, it really just shows me that it's possible, but it's always been possible for me. Even though like I've never really come from like the best situation, or I've never had the most exposure. It's always worked out fine for me. So either way, it just shows me that there's always like a chance for wherever you're from. So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
definitely. There's a lot of competition coming up. I know Koa is probably the name that everyone seems to all of a sudden know after this summer playing with Team USA and with Compton Magic. Is there anybody you'd love to play against in like one of these tournaments? I don't know the tournament schedules yet. I kind of saw a glimpse of it on AZ Preps, but with these Christmas tournaments coming up in a couple of months once the season starts, is there anybody in like kind of the open division tournaments we're going to have here that you're excited to play against or wanting to play against besides Gabe Pickens?
Brophy.
Okay.
But there's not really like a list of guys that I really want to go at, except for Braden Speed at Brophy and Gabe Pickens at Millennium. But that's really it. There's not really a list of guys that I really want to play. Anybody can get it from me.
Yeah. You talked about how Cactus is kind of your rivals. Are they going to be in 5A too, or are they still in 4A?
I am not sure about them. I think they're still in 4A.
Okay. So is there a chance that you and DM play this year?
Yeah, we're in the same region. Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be a game I'm going to have to go to because I've had Zach. Zach was my first guest after doing this, and now I have you. So now I know two guys. So there's not necessarily a team I can cheer for, but could you see that as a rivalry because of how close NDP and DM is? I'm sure a lot of you guys played against each other growing up, and then with the schools being so close, is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm actually not from here. I'm from California. I moved out here in the middle of my freshman year. But yeah, there's a lot of people at our school that they have a lot of friends that go to Desert Mountain. So that game will be packed.
Yeah.
So, there's always been like bad blood between Notre Dame and Desert Mountain. I've heard stories about like the seniors last year. They told me all the stories. So Yeah.
Um, I want to focus on you for just a little bit before I let you go. Um, coming in as a junior, you still got 2 years to just add to your game. You said you're not 6'2", you're 6'3.5" now, so you're going to continue to grow. What type of things have you added to your game training wise, to take your game to the next level?
I think probably the most important thing that I've added to my game is just change of pace. Like at
Mm.
times, if you look at my highlights, I'm going 100 miles per hour all the time. But I've learned to switch it up, go 50% sometimes, to change the direction, go 100% sometimes. But I've also worked on my body, just getting stronger, making like using my body more, not shying away from contact. Also worked on my 3-point range. That's always been like a not a weak spot for me, but it's never really been like the strongest part of my game. But I feel like it's pretty strong this year.
How,
So
how how come you felt like you needed to take steps in those necessary areas? Was it just like excuse me, coming in as a sophomore last year, you said you moved in middle of freshman year.
mhm.
So you weren't, I'm assuming, able to play your freshman year.
Yeah, I moved. That was COVID year, so we started in January. I moved in December.
Got it. Okay. So last year is your first year really playing, which is way more impressive numbers to me, being able to see like your first year, as a varsity player, and your
Well, it's my
average,
second year.
yeah, second year,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
transferring midway through. It's way more impressive to me being able to like transition, of course, with the pandemic happening and then averaging those points. Why did you feel it was necessary to take those, get those growths going in your 3-point and your uh, pace of speed and stuff like that?
I just felt like my game was predictable. It was always go right, spin, or go right euro, go right, finish over the top. It was just always predictable. It's easy to scout me. So I feel like I had to add the 3-point range in there, or go to the left, or work on my core vision. Just make my game less predictable.
Yeah. Are you doing it with like personal trainers? Are you doing it with your club coaches? What's kind of where do you tend to train more of?
I train with my high school coaches and my AAU coach.
Okay. And then just weight lift kind of by yourself with your dad or someone or your friends?
Yeah, with my high school.
Okay. Dope. Um, if you were to describe your game and how you play in one word, what would that be?
Um, Tenacious. I feel like I never stop. That's one thing that sets me apart from everybody else. I never stop. It could be fourth quarter, 30 points. We're up by 30 points. I'm still going hard.
What do you love to do more of? Would it be locking up someone on defense, or, just absolutely tearing up a team on offense?
Definitely defense. Because I've had people,
how,
yeah,
come, how come?
I've had people like tell me that defense is something that I need to work on. So I take more pride in that. That's just the type of player I am.
Is there anybody that you try to um not necessarily compare your game off, but like kind of, I guess, mirror, you could say? You're 6'3", so you're more of that guard position. I'm assuming you're one of the taller guys on your team, so maybe that guard forward role. But is there anybody you try to mirror your game off of?
Um, Probably D Wade
Mm.
or Michael Jordan. Those are my biggest. I watch them all the time.
What attracted you to wanting to play like those guys?
Um, it's just exciting basketball. That's the type of like game style that I like. I like to be exciting. I like to get the crowd engaged. Yeah.
Are you
It,
are you are you a guy that shows your emotions on the court? Are you talking trash, or what would be like a normal game for Anthony Batson be on a regular season night?
um, it's funny because I never started. If you ask anybody that can talk to me, I never started. So it always starts off with me being quiet and just I have like okay maybe 8 points in the first quarter. Then somebody will start talking to me or they'll start fouling hard. Then I get into it and maybe I'll have like 10 points in the second. They're like, oh god, we got to stop it.
um, I absolutely love that. Do you got any personal goals I know you've talked about, a lot of colleges have reached out to you with the help of Section 7 and then playing in the Under Armour circuit. But for this year specifically, I know, you're about to start school this week, I'm assuming. But do you have any personal goals for the season coming up that you've set or are going to set once it starts?
Yeah, I want to be a more polished player instead of just being the raw prospect that everybody's talking about. I want to be the polished guy that everybody in the country wants. I want I want like I want everybody in the country reaching out to me. I want everybody wanting me. I want to be in that position. That's really the main goal for me. I want the 4.0. I want all of it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I feel like, and I'd love to get your take on this. Arizona is starting to become a hot spot for top prospects in basketball. I know we've had it for football for a while, but for basketball, it seems like we've been on the rise, slowly with like DeAndre Ayton and Bagley and Alex Barcelo. I'm sure that was way before your time, but he went to Corona.
Yeah.
And then, AZ Compass Prep comes, Hillcrest Prep had their moment, but it seems like the public school wave too there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of guys that are going to go play Division I basketball, just like you. How do you feel about just kind of the rise that Arizona has slowly, but like quickly started to take, overtaking basketball?
I feel like it's good for the game most off because it's not really good for the game if everybody in one spot is getting all the attention. I feel like it should be a national thing, not just a California thing or a Texas thing or a Florida thing. Like everybody in the country should be getting looked at, and because there's hoopers everywhere.
Yeah. And I feel like, I've read some stuff and it sounds like the open division, is it happening this year or is it still in the works? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I am not sure. I think that we're going to have a shot clock this year though.
I heard about that. And I think that's incredible because I think that's going to like boost the pace, kind of how you talked about like just changing paces in your game, but it's going to boost the pace of basketball here because, at least when I played, it would be like, pass the ball around for a minute and a half, try to get the layup, kick it out. Like it was boring. And, I'm glad it's starting to kick up. I'm sure it's gonna be like 30 seconds or something. Still a long shot clock. Yeah. What are you most excited for before we wrap up? What are you most excited for about heading into these next 2 years of high school basketball for you?
I think I'm most excited for the legacy that I want to leave on this school. When I came here, it wasn't much of a basketball school. We're already starting to change that culture. I feel like that's the biggest thing that I really want to like leave on this school is that our basketball team went from like nothing to one of the top in the state. We're bringing in guys every year that are like committed to the team that really want to get better. And yeah,
I absolutely love that. I'm 100% gonna have to come and see a lot of your games. No one will know, I'm sure, in this podcast listening, but I live in Stonegate. So like, I'm like 15 minutes away from Notre Dame. I'm definitely going to have to come see your preseason games and especially that game against DM. Before I let you go, Notre Dame is sponsored by Nike. I don't know if you guys do a team shoe that you all have to wear, kind of like boring like that, but what are some go-to shoes that you have that you wear if you're wanting like that 47-point game?
That 47-point game, I actually wore some Nikes. I'm not sure what they're called, but my favorite shoe is actually the Currys.
Really?
Yeah, I just got some new Currys. They're like what is it called? Sesame Street Currys.
Those oh, weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure that's what you wear in club, right? Because you're part of Under Armour, so you got to wear Under Armour shoes. Are you gonna be able to wear those this year, or are you gonna have to wear a Nike shoe?
I'm not much of a cross brander, so I'll probably wear Nikes anyway, even though we can wear Under Armours, but I'll probably wear Nikes anyway.
You're not going to screw up the system.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony, I appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day. You got anything to shout out or just for people to watch out to come see you play in the next coming months?
Shout out to my mom. But yeah, just pop out the games. It's going to be exciting.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Everyone, make sure to go follow him on Instagram. What is your Instagram again? It's like short, right?
Yeah, Antbo Jr.
All right, everyone, make sure to follow him. Watch his highlights. He's one of the upcoming rising juniors in the state. But I appreciate you coming on, man. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. And I'm excited to come watch you play this year.
Thank you.